I made a bunch of content creators from all over North America come to Seattle, Washington to meet each other for the first time. He's a Twitch streamer, he's a Twitch streamer, she's a Twitch streamer, she's a Twitch streamer, I'm a YouTuber, and he's my friend. If you don't know what there is to do in Seattle, I'm gonna do my very best to explain it to you, but I highly suggest getting a city pass and doing everything on it. There were 6 of us and we rented out a 2-bed Airbnb, so I'll let your imaginations run wild. This story starts with Justin, Igor, and I, and we were going to meet everybody else in Seattle. A couple of people were driving or flying in directly to the city, but we were on a road trip that would take us through Olympia.
Top 15 things to do to Olympia. Me.
Whoa, this video just got really cool. We're gonna be visiting multiple cities? You see, that's the vibe I'd like to give off, but unfortunately, everything cool in this city was closed that day. We thought about going to the Hands-on Children Museum, but we decided that might be a bad idea. So the only other thing we were excited to see was the Japanese garden, and yeah, it wasn't good. Olympia, I'm doing my absolute best to make you look good right now, but you're making it so hard. Here's some fish, though.
I guess the fish is like a good B-roll.
I'm doing your... Alright, time for the next park.
And if Igor was in control, that'd be the end of the video, because he never transitioned out of it. I didn't tell you guys this, but there's a reason Seattle was the place I wanted to visit. My goal was to... Hold on, I feel like we should have a title sequence for this.
The Quest of Flaffy.
My main quest was to go around the city and get shots of some of the places that were in The Last of Us 2, for a video I plan on making eventually at some point. I also just really love cities. At some point in the last couple years, I started to really appreciate some of the architecture around the world, and tall buildings started to fascinate me. I mean, think about it. I could barely get my Jenga tower to stand, but people built these things. When I got to Seattle, I started seeing stuff like this, and this, and this. I felt a childlike excitement. I've never felt more like an adult than I do right now. But look at that building! It's so tall! The highways are so big! Look at the tunnels! Bastille is in that building! Glass! And the best part was, I was with my 2 best friends. But that all changed when the Fire Nation attacked. And by that I mean everybody else showed up. Okay, we're done with the music now.
The Quest of Terran.
Now Terran had 2 jobs. Be the tour guide and babysit Flaffy. That means make sure he doesn't get lost, talk to weird strangers, do anything dangerous for footage, eat something weird, or spend an absurd amount of money on something stupid. Why am I talking about myself in third person? Justin, Igor, and I got to Seattle pretty late on day 1, so they decided to hang back and relax while Terran showed me around the city. It was a nice relaxing end to the first day before the next 2 days of absolute chaos. Why's my tongue blue? You know, I would have got a really nice shot of the Seattle Aquarium here, but this construction was in my way, so instead we've got this work of art.
My asshole after Taco Bell.
Why are we here? Oh right, because of
The Quest of Flaffy.
And look, we got the whole gang here now. It's Spooter, everyone.
We're really friends in real life. You're really friends? Yeah.
Prove it.
Now, I made a pact with everyone saying that what happens in the aquarium stays in the aquarium. But I didn't walk around awkwardly being a cameraman for no reason. When you ask people that have been to the Seattle Aquarium what it's like, they usually say something along the lines of, it's pretty alright, I guess. Which was good enough for me.
This dude, what is up with his colors, bro? Dude, he is working out.
He's getting swole.
Yeah, getting yoked out here.
This is what I call discipline.
We go, Jen! We go, Jen!
Little does he know, it's actually my vlog now.
Got the homies here with me. We got Frederick, we got Donald the Third, we got Freddie Boy, and we got Meister in the back. He is a little camera shy, but trust me, when this guy gets some drinks in him, he goes fucking wild.
The legendary Zoom Boogie.
The what?
What did you just say?
It sounds like it has more context than it does. That's the key.
Okay, so I know that aquariums are places with massive amounts of educational value, and I could read every single sign and learn a lot about fish. But the highlight of the aquarium for me was the gift shop. Very specifically, this thing. It slips, it slides, and nobody expects it. We kept walking up to each other and giving it to them for the first time and watching them drop it on the floor. It was the best. My greatest regret was not buying one of those. Or was it the outcome of
The Quest of Terran?
We went to get lunch a couple blocks away from the aquarium, and there were a bunch of seagulls. So naturally, we fed them.
Thanks. Get my finger, you see little seagull saliva on there.
And I know a bunch of you are mashing your keyboards telling me that this isn't okay. But it was. We were allowed to. The sign said so. Okay, I don't have any video of the sign, so you guys are gonna have to trust me on this one. Now you might be wondering, where the heck did the rest of the group go? Well, one of the biggest attractions in Seattle is the Ferris wheel, and I was really excited to go on it and get footage of the city with the view, but then I got under it and remembered, I'm scared of heights. So Taryn, Spooter, and I left to find food while Justin got footage of the city for me. Look, it's very pretty.
Don't worry, Justin. You're the real view.
So what happened to the other group after they went on the Ferris wheel? Well, obviously they went on
The Quest of Umbra.
and I have no idea what that was because I wasn't there and nobody recorded it. But the three of us went and found one of the greatest things I've ever seen on this planet, the fountain. Now let's take a second and be an adult for a moment. All those people around us are enjoying the sun, having a nice day, and enjoying the view of the fountain. And with these context clues, one could come to the conclusion that it would be inappropriate behavior to play in the fountain.
Bro,
I keep forgetting how cold it is. Oh, this is not.
that was worth it.
Now this sounds like a really good time to explain.
The Quest of Spooter.
You see, Spooter was on a quest to discover a reason for being here. He had nothing in particular that he was excited to see in the city, and all of us were just dragging him along. Not to mention the absurd amount of money he had spent to fly across the country to be here. So I left a drink somewhere and Spooter decided to record this trash can for some reason. Oh, this is gonna be a long journey for Spooter. This is Daniel. There's an entire really cool story to be learned here, but I wasn't paying attention to it, so here's the basis of what I understood. There was this guy named Chihuly who really liked glass. I'm sorry, that's all I got. Now, I would have gotten a lot more footage of the inside of this place, but then the security guard came up to me and told me I had to put my camera away. Despite everybody else in the room holding their cameras, I wasn't speaking, being obnoxious, walking in front of people to get footage or anything like that. In fact, 5 minutes before we walked in, Igor walked in holding the exact same camera, and nobody told him anything. Igor even walked in and the first thing he did was read a sign that said not to touch the glass, did it anyways, immediately got caught, and still wasn't told to put away his camera. Now, I'm not saying the guy was racist, but as soon as I walked around the corner, I pulled my camera out and started recording everything again, and none of the other security guards stopped me. Now, there are a few different vibes that come from looking at the Space Needle. All of my friends probably heard this. But I heard this. Yeah, I thought the Ferris wheel was scary, but I couldn't go to Seattle and not go onto the Space Needle. I mean, look at that thing. It's like the thing Seattle's known for, and it has a view that I really want to see. The observation deck is 520 feet up in the air, and the elevator that takes you there gives you a whole view at 10 miles per hour. Now, I don't know if you know this, but that is not the speed a human naturally travels in an upward direction. But I conquered my fears, I got on that elevator, and forgot to record footage because I was too busy freaking out. Dude, I'm sorry guys, I don't have footage of the elevator, but take my word for it, it's really cool when you're not having a panic attack. Instead, here's some footage from the observation deck. So the top of the Space Needle has an inside and outside portion. I stepped on the outside portion for about 20 seconds and then relied on Justin and Taryn to record footage for me because I was having trouble standing.
Yeah, I need to go back in. This is back in. This is back in.
So I know that architecturally, the Space Needle is one of the most stable building designs ever created, but we're so high up I could feel the wind and wobbles of the whole building. And I know being inside rather than outside didn't make me any less safe, but oh yeah, that's Igor leaning on the outside glass to make fun of me, by the way. There are 2 floors on the observation deck, and the bottom one has a glass floor, and since Taryn didn't want to carry my unconscious body off the Space Needle, she decided to take the camera and get footage of it. And after that, we were done with the Space Needle. So we got off, and I probably freaked out more going down the elevator than up. Once again, no footage, I'm so sorry. But that was the end of our day. We went back to the Airbnb and got ready for day 3. And can I just say real quick, day 3 is always the worst day of a trip. You're tired, you have so much you want to do, the magic of being in a new place is starting to wear off, you're getting all sick of all the junk food, and my legs.
Huh?
Yeah, where are we going?
We're going to the zoo.
To the zoo? The zoo?
We're going to and the snow leopard, the monkeys,
The monkeys.
and the owls, and the tigers,
Yes!
and the bears,
Oh my gosh.
and the bugs, otters.
Oh, we can't forget. Justin.
Yeah, Justin. We're gonna see Justin in his natural habitat.
This was probably one of my favorite parts of the trip. Definitely in the top 5. We got everybody together in one group again, and a lot of stupid happened.
How do you guys feel about these kids being on the monkey statue?
Pretty stupid.
Pretty stupid? Like, it's like kind of mature, right? I would never.
This sounds like a really good time to talk about
The quest of Igor.
Igor's quest was to take pictures of every animal's butthole.
Get in your process.
You take the camera, right? Like, so I got, like, this is like zoom.
It is so dark, I can't even see.
You just keep zooming.
And so the entire group had to go around looking at buttholes.
That's pretty good.
And I'm not gonna lie, I think this project was starting to make him go crazy.
Bird.
Eat the paper, Justin.
That's a person.
But hey, that's okay, we're all back together again. We split up. So look, the next place on our list was a museum of pop culture, and I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. We could have either spent more time there, or more time looking at buttholes. So naturally, I compromised and we stayed at the zoo for another hour.
I need to like pay someone to carry me around.
Mopop was closing soon and we hadn't even seen half of the zoo yet, so we broke into 2 groups. The zoo group recorded absolutely nothing, but the cool group went to Mopop, so it was once again me, Taryn, and Spooter. I forgot to mention this, but my family actually visited Seattle a few years ago, just like without me. And they were hyping this museum up for years. I mean, it's pretty much all they talked about when they talked to me about their Seattle trip, so I was very excited to see it for myself. And oh boy, did it deliver. I mean, when you walk into a museum and the first thing you see is the Ender Dragon going to battle with a flying car, you know it's gonna be good. This place had all sorts of fun stuff in it. To begin with, we went to the music section that had an entire area dedicated to hip-hop, and I am a big fan of hip-hop, so I wanted to spend all day in that section. There were guitars from a whole bunch of famous people I didn't know, and this sculpture will never be erased from my memory. I think this is where we reached the conclusion for
The quest of Spooter.
he found his reason for being here, and it was everything in this museum.
There's just so much here.
I mean, this man was living his best life as we walked through this place. There's a part of the museum dedicated to indie games, and it was basically just a really cool arcade, so we got stuck there for a while. Then we went to the fantasy section, where Taryn and Spooter would freak and geek about stuff that's probably really cool, but to me just looked like a stick. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend this stuff's not cool. They got like Professor McGonagall's hat, and you can't forget about
Invisibility cloak. Look, it's the invisibility cloak.
Oh my gosh.
God, it's true to its name.
And they also had a bunch of stuff from the set of Lord of the Rings, and I hadn't seen it. So, the first thing we did when I got home was watch all of Lord of the Rings. And yes, it was the extended version. I know you're asking, you're mashing it in the comments. I feel it. But then we went somewhere I was not ready for. There was a sci-fi section, and oh my gosh, I was thriving. They had a bunch of Star Wars stuff, the Ghostbusters vacuum thing, a whole wall of ray guns. I flew a spaceship. I was having the time of my life. So it looks like all of us met our goals. I got Seattle footage, Taryn made sure I didn't die, Umbra went on a secret undercover mission, Spooter discovered his reason for being, Igor got a whole lot of booty pics, and Justin, oh, right.
The quest of Justin.
It was leaving. Justin hates cities.